Hello everyone, welcome to my Pokemon Prism walkthrough. We are in Oxalis City today, going after our first gym badge. That's right guys, this is a Pokemon Gold ROM hack, if you are wondering. If you want to download this hack yourself, you can find all you need in the description below. I'm your host DeoGenZ, and this is the area where you can change your sprite's color. I mentioned that in an earlier episode before, and I showed you also the zone where we could change our sprite completely from the average trainer sprite to what we are toting about today. So you need cloth in order to get any different type of clothing sprite style, and unfortunately I just do not have any cloth. Yeah, so not sure entirely how I get more of that, but maybe I will probably find it out in the wild. Either a Pokemon might drop it, or, well, I doubt a Pokemon will drop it, but I'm sure we'll find it out in a Pokeball somewhere out in the wild. And up north here, that's where we'll be going next episode, but I recommend heading up that route just to do some training and also do some potential Pokemon catching, because what you can find up there are lots of Merrills. And Merrills are quite important for what we're going to be doing today. You're going to see me take on the gym, Oxalis City Gym. And it is a fire gym, starting off with Elemental Fire. Very similar to Kanto, starting out with the elements. But it is going to be a fiery match with no fire, super effective fighters. Tailo, Rex, and Superquill have nothing in their arsenal of moves that is super effective. Rex is a beast in the way that most of their moves won't be effective against him, but it's not very effective in retaliation when Rex doesn't even have one ground or rock type move. Well, I guess if you want to count Sandstorm, but that doesn't really do any super effective damage to my opponent. So go north of Oxalis City, my friends, because you will find Merrill out there, copious amounts of them. And actually, I recently did on the what'sinsidemyhead.com blog. If you go to that, it's what'sinsidemyhead.com with a Z for the what's, for DeoGenZ. I did an EV train set of Azumarill. Now, of course, EV training doesn't matter in the second gen, but if you were thinking of maybe transmitting that to your 5th gen metagame, you could try and check out that site to get all the interesting facts of EV stats in more detailed writing. I realize that sometimes during a walkthrough or an LP, it just doesn't pay to talk about EV training because you don't have enough time, so that website and the blog combined give me a chance to expound upon that and allow people to really understand what's going on with EV training, because, you know, a lot of people, they're just into the leveling up and evolving. That's what I was into for the longest time, and hey, it mattered not EV training in this generation here, Gold, so that's all I'll say about that. But Merrill are up north, and if you don't want to use Merrill, perhaps you want to use a different water type, and you don't like being locked down to using Rex here, or your version of Larvitar, whatever you want to nickname it, then you can also find on some of the previous routes that we traversed some Lotads. Lotad. And now whenever I think of Lotad, I can't help but think of the Dancing Mirror Bee with his fully evolved Ludicolo. And also there was a short feature, I remember, that involved, I believe it was during the Jirachi movie, the Jirachi anime movie. And this short feature was Pokemon Gotta Dance. And in it they had Lucario amongst Loudred, amongst many other humorous Pokemon, dancing to this melodious beat that would come out of Meowth's scepter, and it was used to control Pokemon, but instead it made them all go nuts and go dancing fever crazy around this built-up house for Giovanni. So it was a humorous short, and whenever I think about Lotad, Lombre, or Ludicolo, I can't help but chortle. So these battles have been sped up about 500 times, just in case you're wondering. This is the annoyance and whittling down that you have to do to this fire-type gym if you don't have a super effective move. So learn from my mistakes. This is what I kind of like about post-commentary, is I get to take an overall perspective of what I've done already, analyze it, and then give you guys better results audio-wise through commentary. So what's going on the screen, I may be noobing it, I may be sucking at it, but hey, at least I've given it some time to think, what's the proper strategy here? And let me know, guys, what you think of the new border style. Game Boy Color that's been recolored, and Larvitar's on the screen, of course, with the levels of my team. Just trying out some new things, because of course I'm always trying to evolve my LPs, get better quality in them, and make them more informative, so your feedback is crucial in that process. Rex pounding it out. And now we have a dark type move. So that's going to be a lot more super effective than what we've been working with. Just a normal type. Pound. And Josiah. He's talking about bros, and he wields the fire. Josiah's got the firepower. And it's a resprite, or recoloring of the sprite of Falconer, which is pretty interesting, because if you follow Gold, Silver, and Crystal's gym history, it started out with Falconer. Now, of course, this is somewhat of a blind LP for me, because I've never played through Prism all the way, but I do wonder if they're going to go in the same order as the past Johto region, just with recolorings. I was thinking about this earlier, and then I actually had it answered later on before I made this video. And yes, you can do this. You can bring in other sprites from other games. So, for example, I can bring in Alder from the Unova region into this game, for example, Pokemon Prism or Pokemon Gold over a ROM hack. I would just have to resprite one of the already given NPCs to Alder's sprite. It's pretty much just a reskinning. And it's interesting because I've never done a Pokemon ROM hack, and I'm getting more and more intrigued about them as I go through the LP and do more research into them myself, getting offers to make them, although I don't have the time to do them, but, you know, it's always been an interest of mine. But it's similar, almost, in a way, to Brawl hacking. In the way of Brawl hacking, I mean Super Smash Bros. Brawl, of course, on the Wii, and redoing textures on that, in which you're not adding any characters, you're just kind of overlaying different stats and different binary over already existing models that Nintendo has made. So you may have Captain Falcon, but he can be some other guy from F-Zero. You know, I wasn't a big F-Zero fan, so that was a probably bad example, but I've seen, for example, Lucario reskinned as Bunny, or not Bunny, sorry, Lopunny. So the things that can be done with hacking and remodeling of fan-based communities, it is really marvelous. Mods, hacking, texture packs, and more. I do love it much. And expect to see more. Definitely on this channel. More of Pokemon mods, hacks, whatever you want to call them. And many more things that I don't even want to spoil. So, there you go. Now, if you want to go to that store that I stopped at earlier in picking up the potions and pick yourself up some additional burn heals, that wouldn't be such a bad idea either. Because although you didn't see it from battle to battle that I went, I re-healed, of course. I re-healed and sometimes had to use burn heals as well, just to keep going without going out of the gym and just progress further without needing Pokemon centers. So burn heals can be your friend. And often I usually skip those, but for this ROM hack, I want to be as well equipped as possible, because I don't know what I'm going to face. Ember's making Rex tender. Toasted. He's getting roasted by that Ember. Oh, but it's too bad. Pound. It breaks him down! And we win. How could my hot Pokemon lose? Yeah, I know. I was just saying that you were burning me up, and then Rex pulls out a pound that is like no other. Alright, now we have the Pyre badge, which is the first badge in Oxalis City. Alright, it lets us use flash outside of battle, so dark areas can now be lit. That's excellent. Now that's Thug. Also, take this. TM11. Okay, so what is TM11 in this game? Here's two of these TMs. They teach your Pokemon moves, but can only be used once, not like in the Unova region. This is Sunny Day. Okay, makes fire Pokemon stronger. Faux show! Gangsta Fire Pokemon Master. Alright, so that was the Oxalis City Gym, guys. I am DeoGenZ, and we are going to head to the Pokemon Center real quick before ending this episode. And in the next episode, I'll key you into what we're going to be doing. We're going to be heading north. We're going to be seeing what we can explore next in Pokemon Prism. We now have the power to use Flash outside of battle, so dark caves, beware, we're going to explore. And now Super Quill might have the potential here to use Sunny Day and get super powerful fire moves. So tune in, more training is to be unfolded.